Some of the most capable people you will ever meet secretly believe they are not that smart, and some of the least self-aware people you know are walking around completely convinced that they are. That's not a coincidence, it's a pattern, and once you understand why it happens, you'll probably recognize yourself somewhere inside it. Why does the ability to think clearly so often come wrapped in doubt? Why do the sharpest minds spend so much time wondering if they're missing something obvious while people who barely question anything walk through life with total confidence? That gap has a name, and understanding it will change the way you see your own mind. Here's the mystery we're solving today. Confidence and competence are not the same thing. In fact, they often move in opposite directions. The people who know the most tend to have the clearest view of everything they still don't know. The people who know the least don't have enough knowledge to even see the gaps, so they feel certain, and the deep thinkers feel unsure. Stick with this video because by the end, you're going to walk through 7 specific psychological patterns that quietly reveal a sharper mind than you give yourself credit for. And somewhere around the middle, there's one sign in particular that most people mistake for a weakness, when it's actually the opposite. Let's start with a picture. Imagine 2 people finish the same project. The first person did excellent work. When someone compliments them, they shrug it off. Anyone could have done that, they say. I just got lucky with the topic. The second person did average work. When someone compliments them, they nod like it's obvious. Yeah, I put a lot into that, they say, already thinking about what's next. If you only watched their reactions, you'd guess the second person did better work. You'd be wrong. This is the confidence-competence seesaw. On one side sits confidence, how sure someone feels. On the other sits competence, how capable someone actually is. Most of us assume these two things rise and fall together, but often they tilt in opposite directions entirely. So if you've ever finished something you worked hard on and immediately started listing the reasons it wasn't that impressive, you're not broken. You might be sitting on the exact side of that seesaw where sharper minds tend to land. Let's get into the first sign because it's probably the one you already recognize in yourself. Sign 1, you replay conversations in your head. You said something in a meeting 3 hours ago and it's still running on a loop. Did that come out right? Did they take it the wrong way? Should you have phrased it differently? Most people assume this means something is wrong with them, that they're anxious or too sensitive or overthinking something that doesn't matter. But here's what's actually happening. Overthinking isn't a malfunction, it's your brain running extra simulations. While a simpler decision-making process picks the first reasonable answer and moves on, a deeper processing style keeps testing variations, checking for things that don't fit, looking for the version of events other people didn't even consider. It's not always comfortable. But it's not weakness. It's your mind doing more work than it needs to, and that extra work is often where nuance lives. Sign 2 follows naturally from the first. You notice things other people walk right past. Picture a group of people rushing down a hallway, all moving in the same direction without a second thought. And then there's one person who stops, not because they're lost, because they noticed a door nobody else even registered. That's what it looks like when someone catches an inconsistency, a small detail, an unspoken tension in a room that everyone else missed. It can feel isolating in the moment, like you're the only one who saw it. But noticing what other people filter out isn't a distraction, it's a different depth of attention. Which leads to sign 3, and this one tends to surprise people the most. You ask the obvious question. You've been in that meeting. Someone finally says, "Wait, why are we doing it this way in the first place?" And the room goes quiet for a second because nobody had actually thought about it. They'd just been following the process. That question can feel embarrassing to ask, like you're the one person who didn't get the memo. But foundational questions like that don't come from confusion. They come from refusing to accept an answer just because everyone else already has. Intelligence isn't about already knowing everything. It's about being willing to ask what other people assumed was settled. Now, here's where it gets interesting because sign 4 is the one most people get completely backwards, changing your mind. Imagine someone says, "I used to think X, but now I think Y." Somewhere along the way, we started treating that as flip-flopping, as if the smart move is to pick a position and defend it no matter what new information shows up. But rigid certainty isn't a strength. It's often just discomfort with being wrong. The people who update their beliefs when they encounter new evidence aren't inconsistent. They're doing something much harder than sticking with an old opinion out of pride. They're staying open. And in a world that constantly rewards people for sounding certain, being willing to say, actually, I was wrong about that, is rarer than it should be. Sign 5 is closely related. You're comfortable saying, I don't know. Not because you lack information, because you understand how much complexity actually sits underneath most questions. There's a difference between not knowing something and understanding that a question doesn't have a clean, simple answer. The second one takes more thinking, not less. Sign 6 shows up in something small but familiar, rereading a text message before you send it, twice, maybe 3 times. To an outside observer, that might look like anxiety over nothing. But underneath it is a kind of social and emotional processing, thinking through how something might land on the other end, considering tone, considering the relationship, considering what's not being said. That's not insecurity. That's depth applied to something most people send without a second thought. Which brings us to the 7th sign, the one that ties every other sign together and finally answers the question we opened with. Why does this feeling persist? Why do people who show every one of these signs still walk around assuming everyone else has it more figured out than they do? The answer is something psychologists call metacognition, thinking about your own thinking. The more genuinely competent someone becomes in an area, the more clearly they can see the edges of what they don't know. Their awareness expands right alongside their skill, so instead of feeling more confident as they learn more, they often feel less certain, because now they can see how much more there is. Meanwhile, someone with less experience in that same area doesn't have the perspective to see those edges. There's nothing showing them what they're missing, so they feel sure simply because they don't know enough to feel unsure. This is the real story behind the seesaw from the beginning of this video. It's not that competent people are secretly insecure and confident people are secretly brilliant. It's that awareness of your own limitations is itself a byproduct of understanding something deeply. Self-doubt, in a strange way, is often the fingerprint that real thinking leaves behind. So if you've spent years quietly assuming you're not as sharp as people give you credit for, if you overthink, notice too much, ask the questions nobody else asks, change your mind when the evidence changes, and reread your text before you hit send, that's not proof you're behind. It might be proof that your mind is doing exactly what a deeper mind does, staying honest about what it doesn't know, instead of pretending it already has it all figured out. That doesn't mean every doubt you feel is accurate, and it doesn't mean confidence is something to avoid. It just means the discomfort you've been carrying might not be telling you what you think it's telling you. If this topic resonated with you, I explore it much more deeply in my book, where I break down the psychology behind self-perception and give practical ways to better understand yourself and the people around you. If you're interested, you'll find it linked in the description. Which of these 7 signs hit closest to home for you, and did it surprise you that it might actually be a sign of intelligence? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Psychology for Dummies. Every week we explore the hidden psychology behind everyday thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, making complex ideas simple, practical, and easy to understand. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.